Hi, I'm Neal, and I'm with the College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources. This work is part of a $1.328 million USAID grant that grew out of a $5,000 Ready for the World grant that we received in early 2007. Now, I'm not an economist, but it seems to me that there can be a good rate of return when you invest in faculty. That was a joke. All right. You guys got to lighten up. My co-PIs are at UT are Forbes Walker, Dayton Lambert, and Michael Wilcox. Lesotho is landlocked and all lies within South Africa, produces only 15% of the food it consumes, and actually has a decreasing population due to AIDS. There are many child and elderly held households. But Lesotho is a beautiful country. This is the Kotze Dam, a somewhat controversial water project whereby water is sold to neighboring South Africa. The project displaced many people, but was also seen by many as a good project, like most projects. The water goes to South Africa anyway, so why not get paid for it? But the beauty is marred by the ongoing deaths due to AIDS and a population that is decreasing. In Lesotho, Saturday is funeral day, so that the people can continue with their jobs. Otherwise, the missed work was literally stopping the country. There are many huge new cemeteries springing up all over from even the smallest of villages. And for those of you old enough to remember Chicken Little, she was right. When it rains, the sky does indeed fall. The rivers turn orange, and incredible pedestals appear where the soil surface is protected by something, even a rock. These scars can be seen all over the country. Many gullies only stop when the bottom of the gully hits the underlying bedrock. Some of these gullies are many meters deep. Once erosion has started, it's very difficult to fix. Erosion in Lesotho has been going on for millennia. The erosion scars are part of the geologic record. They predate human impact in the area and illustrate climate change. These dark, buried A horizons were formed when the horizon was on the soil surface. It took at least a few thousand years to form this horizon. Then it was covered with more deposition, and followed by a period of stability in soil formation, followed again by more deposition. One thing that makes the erosion worse is that there is a lot of tillage. Here's a poor family with a 3-cow hitch. Usually cows or horses are always hitched in multiples of 2. Tillage is part of the culture. They often plow twice and then harrow and then plant. Here's another bad planter. The seed boxes do not work, so they take them off and then just use the fertilizer box and mix the seed with soil and let it fall out the fertilizer tube. Not a very good system, but it can work. In our conservation ag system, they make a basin with a hoe during the dry season. When the rains come, they add fertilizer in their seed and cover it up. Early planting is one of the keys to better yields and food security. In this system, the soil surface is protected year-round from the intense rainfall and drastically reduces erosion losses. Even the weaver birds like it. That was kind of a joke too, but. And our yields are good, close to yields a farmer in Tennessee would get, whereas the national average maize yield in Lesotho is nearly 20 times less, about 500 kilograms per hectare. This yield is approximately what we consider acceptable losses with today's combines. The farmers are excited about these yields and the simplicity of the farming system. Farmers have smaller plots, less than half the size of a football field, and produce enough food to feed their families for the year. Many come a long way for field days to learn what they can from our research plots. Here's one of our collaborators, Makwala Maraki, examining a maize cob during one of the field days. At the field days, they learn about scouting their fields for insects, cover crops for weed control, and general agronomic training. This is another one of our farmers. She walked 6 hours to get to the field day and brought along 2 ears of corn that she proudly showed the participants. She spoke of her pride of being able to finally feed her family and even sell some of the excess. Whenever we show up at the research site, the student trainees always ask for us to take them to the field and talk. In November, we took an ox-drawn planter out to the field to show how to check seed placement and how it handled the residues on the soil surface. And then we examined the effects of some of the pollen and corn silk-eating insects. Some of the corn borers can devastate a crop in just a few days. Timing is everything. Beside me is my graduate student, Wendy Bruns, who will finish up here in December, and she's doing the carbon work. We were confident at the outset that we could increase the maize yield, but the harder question to answer is how much carbon a poor subsistence African farmer can sequester if we take tillage out of the crop production cycle and replace it with a no-till system and cover crops. What we found is that if we do a complete energy balance of the system, an African farmer can sequester a substantial amount of carbon. For example, data from one cloudy day after the corn had matured suggested that they would sequester about 50 kilograms of carbon per hectare per year. Sequestration rates on a sunny day or during exponential crop growth could be nearly 10 times greater. These presentations are tricky, and then I do not want to leave you with the feeling of despair that comes with some of those fundraising commercials for the Horn of Africa. African Lesotho is a land of hope, of smiles, and of gentle people. People that work hard. It'd be cool if we could do some carbon sequestration that would get them some money for taking care of the soil. I want to leave you with Kotso. They've taught me peace. They taught me that rain, Pula, is a blessing, and about Nala, prosperity. Prosperity does not come from stuff. It comes from within.